Welcome, guys. Roll on in. I'm going to get a few things set up, and then we will get popping. It is good to have everyone aboard. Thank y'all. All right, let me just get a couple things set up, and we will get started. It is election day. If you're going to vote, do your thing. If you're not going to vote, do your thing. Voting, whatever. All right, give me 1 second. We'll get started in just a second. Got some big stuff going on this week. Thank you guys for sticking with me. Got some big stuff going on this week. I'm going to be in Virginia, big time fight weekend for Keyshawn Davis. Let me get 1 second. Let me get a couple things set up, and then we'll get going in just a second. All right, y'all. It's good to be back. Got some big news for you today. Gonna get into the locks. Got a good week for you today. I did the Keyshawn Davis video, and tonight, after we do the Keyshawn Davis video, after I do the live, I'm gonna drop the Bam Rodriguez. I'm not sure when I'm gonna be out of town, but I'm gonna get y'all one more video for sure. Gonna have the lock of the week, and then. Hang on 1 second. Hang on 1 second, guys. Hang on 1 second. Oh, yes, sir. We got Rocket in the house with $10 super chat. Appreciate you, my man. Appreciate you. Sorry, my kid's going nuts. That's my son with autism going nuts. Sorry about that, yo. Appreciate you. Yes, sir. Most appreciated member up in here is my boy Rocket. Got some good ones for you today. I'm going to get started in just a moment with the locks. But got a good week of boxing. Got a really strong week of boxing that I want to get into. You guys have any comments, questions, thoughts, super chats? Put it in the chat. We'll get right into it. We will get right into it. So we can make some money this week. There's money out there to be made. Iglesias, Reese Leem, Abdullah Mason, Kelvin Davis, and Yais Solano. We're gonna look at that one. That's not as easy as it looks. Troy Isley, Keyshawn Davis. We're gonna lay off these Davis boys for now. I'm gonna get into these in just a minute. Raymond Ford. Guys, see what I'm doing here? Khalil Cole, Jesse Bam Rodriguez. There's money, and then Jared Enos. This is minus 6,000. A 60-1 favorite for Boots Enos. Really? 6 minus 6. Hang on, y'all. All right. It's all good, Chad. Jaron Boots KO, Ford decision, Bam Rodriguez KO, Sean Davis decision KO. Okay, I love everything there besides Bam Rodriguez KO. And I'm gonna tell you why. And I'm doing a video on this tonight, so I'll have it out tonight. I love everything. I love everything you just said, except for, and I know you're gonna say, but Bam just knocked out Sonny. Bam knocked out legends in Rungvisai. He knocked out Agayo. So he knocks people out. Yo, Kyle Hayden in the house. Kyle Hayden in the house. So why do I not like Bam Rodriguez by KO? And if y'all know me, you know Bam is a personal friend of mine. I've covered his career since the beginning. I've covered his career since the amateurs. I've covered him when he was fighting at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Errol Spence, Mikey Garcia, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury 1. Bam is my boy. I'm tight with the family. But why am I picking him to win by decision? Well, Bam fights down to the level of his competition. Okay? Remember, he stopped Estrada. He stopped Sonny Edwards. Beautiful. Christian Gonzalez, Israel Gonzalez. Remember these names? He went the distance with lesser competition. Pedro Guevara is more of that level. He's a good fighter, pretty conventional, straight up and down, pretty standard. Not a whole lot to him. There's not a lot to him. Straight punches, good timing. There's just not much to him. And Bam has fought down to the level of his competition over and over again. When he fights a legend, when he fights Sonny Edwards, he fights at his best. When he fights lower competition, he gets big in between fights, and he fights at that level. So I don't love Bam by KO in this fight. He could get the stoppage. My kind of inkling here is that he goes the distance and gets a decision, and everyone says Bam looked just okay for Bam standards, which is super high. Plus, yep. Yo, what up, Hayden? Rocket makes an excellent point. Pedro Guevara, he's coming off a win over Maloney, and he's never been stopped in 47 fights, 42-4-1. Never been stopped. He has a win over Andrew Maloney, and he has a close decision loss to Carlos Cuadras in 2023. This is not a terrible fighter, so I like the fight to go the distance. I like Bam by. Hey, what's up, my boy Nate? What's going on? Nate the Great is in the house. Nate, I want to talk to you about my Nets podcast. I want to talk to you all about that. Which reminds me of one other thing. Guys, head on over. I got to do this in the first 4 minutes, and I'm 8 minutes in, so they're going to be unhappy with me. But head on over to carnivalbar.com. Carnivalbar.com. Get the nutrition of a steak in the convenience of a bar. Carnivalbar.com. Use promo code BOXING at checkout to save 10%. That's carnivalbar.com. On the move nutrition without compromise. Use promo code BOXING to save 10% at checkout. carnivalbar.com. Give me 1 second. Put that in the chat. All right. Let's get back to Nate. Who do you like? Nate, who do you got? You got Bam Rodriguez over Pedro Guevara by stoppage or by decision? Nate is a tremendous Jet fan and a tremendously knowledgeable in basketball. Guys, don't remember Nate. It's been a minute since he's been here. All right, I want to get back to this. Next week is going to be interesting. Boy, next week's going to be interesting. I want to start with Give me 1 second. This first fight is interesting right here. Petr Ivanov and Oseles Iglesias. This is an intriguing fight. This is a fight I can get into. This is probably too wide. Also, although Iglesias is a very good fighter, Ivanov is not a bum. 18-0-2. He hasn't fought outside of Germany much. I don't think he's okay. He's fought in Ukraine once. Okay, he's fought outside of Germany a couple times early in his career. A couple of draws with fellow high-level prospects. Those fights where Iglesias probably wins. Iglesias is probably the better fighter, and you're probably safe. But at plus 800, Ivanov is an interesting bet because he could win this fight. At minus 1,600, there's no money to be made. There's just no money to be made on Iglesias, and I don't have a prop for it to go the distance. Iglesias is good fighter, big hitter, Cuban fighter, Cuban stance, southpaw. I think he also fights out of Germany. This is an intriguing fight. I tend to lean towards Iglesias. He beat Senia Ekbeko in the second round, and he beat Evgeny Spendenko. So he's got a couple of wins. He's a pretty good fighter. But it's Ivanov is being disrespected. Ivanov is a touted guy himself. Like, Ivanov should be getting... Yeah, really, you're right. When he destroyed Ekbeko, he's a good fighter. My point here is minus 1,600 is far too wide, and Ivanov is a nice little fighter himself. This is not an easy fight. This is not easy money. This is not a blowout. This is not somebody who's just going to go in and take care of him like he did at Becco. This is a real fight that he's in. He should win. And at minus 1,600, Kyle's right. He's probably going to win. I would say there's a 70% chance he wins. But it's minus 1,600. It's 16-1. It's just so wide, right? Like, I would definitely put my money on him, on Iglesias, but it's just so wide. I don't like that. Like, it's just disrespectful to a really good fighter, to a damn good prospect in his own right, in Petr Ivanov. Yeah, everyone likes Iglesias. I like Iglesias too. Top Notch is what up, Top Notch? I'm a fan, and he's probably going to win. He's probably going to win. So I'm going to do that video too. Let me go back and let me make sure I'm not overestimating Ivanov. I'm taking Iglesias to win. I'm not discrediting Iglesias. I'm not. Perhaps I'm crediting Ivanov too much. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to watch the film on Ivanov tonight after I do my Bam Rodriguez video. And I will do that video tomorrow. %. Yeah. If it's at 90%, then even at 90%, that means he wins 9 out of 10 times. He's still far too high. That would be minus 900. He's minus 1,600. He's almost double that. See what I'm saying? The odds of that are really, really bad. And I think 90% is probably still too high. But that's interesting. That Topology has that. Okay. So they're seeing what I'm seeing, I think, in Ivanov. He's probably going to win. But it's just, there's no money to be made, and it's disrespectful to Ivanov. Like, this is almost the same as Race Aleem. There's no chance Race Aleem is going to lose. Who put that in the chat? Kyle, what percent do they have Aleem at? Right? Because Aleem, the odds are almost the same. And Aleem, I understand he's coming off the loss to Goodman. competitive fight, good fight. He lost a competitive decision to Goodman. He's got a ton of good wins. Vic Piselius, Eduardo Baez, Mike Plania, Adam Lopez. He's got so many good wins. Going back for years. And he's fighting a true tune-up, a 12-2-1 fighter. Hernando Geraldo, Dominican fighter, tough, fundamentally piss poor, decent pop, gets hit a lot. He's going to get schooled. He's going to get destroyed. It's an easy money fight. He got stopped by Christopher Diaz in 2 rounds. This is a fight where he's going to get blown out. It's just easy work. See? And look, they have Aleem at thank you. They have Aleem at 100%. And the odds for Aleem and for Iglesias are basically the same. And they're saying Aleem has no chance of losing. None. And I agree with that. This is an easy work fight. Like that, I'm going to have my lockout for you guys. And Aleem's going to be on it because it's just such an easy. And he's going to win by stoppage too, I would imagine. We have no props on it, right? Yeah, no props on it. But Aleem is going to win by stoppage. Abdullah Mason at minus 2,500. 0% chance. I'm probably going to put Keyshawn Davis in it. But I just don't like this. I'll get you guys the lock of the week. We'll get you something good. Only 20 predictions. So Iglesias' prediction has 38 picks and it's just dropped to 87%. People are seeing what I'm seeing. And I'm not telling you guys that Iglesias is going to lose. He's probably going to win. But the odds don't make it sexy for you to bet on him. It's not compelling. It's not interesting. It's not a good bet for you guys to bet on him. It just doesn't pay. The juice at a minus 1,600 to me isn't even worth. It's not even worth putting him in your parlay because there's better bets to add to your parlay than a minus 1,600. Iglesias. Aleem is far better at minus 1,800. Kelvin Davis and Solano is a really interesting one. Kelvin Davis has not looked great. I'm not saying he's looked bad, he's looked shit, nothing like that. I mean, he's not looked great. He got a win over Kevin Johnson barely at the Prudential Center. A lot of people thought he lost that fight. Before that, when he fought Clarence Booth, that was competitive. He's fought a lot of competitive fights recently. Clarence Booth was very competitive. I know the scores were wide, but Clarence Booth, a good fighter. He fought Omar Juarez competitively too. Solano's not a bum. I know Solano's lost 3 in a row. He lost to Mike Williams. He lost to Alberto Palmetta, and he lost to Gabriel Golez Venezuela. Those are all guys that would beat Kelvin Davis, though. I'm probably going to pick Kelvin Davis. Probably good for that. It's not an easy fight. You're right. He should be 650. I agree, Top Notch. The odds are far too wide. Oh, yeah, I bet Bipolar at the Oshaki Foster fight. I got a picture with him and everything. What a good dude. Hey, what up, Bipolar Boxing? Glad to have you aboard. Are you from upstate New York, or where you from? That you made it to he was at the Oshaki Foster fight. And what did you think of it? Bipolar, where are you from? And what did you think of that decision? That's Nova. Nova's a great dude. I felt bad for Nova. I thought Nova won wide. I thought he won super, super wide. And then he got a draw, and I thought that was bogus and disgusting. I'm not going to tell the story. get into that. But let's get into the rest of this. I want to get into Keyshawn as well. Keyshawn Davis is most likely going to win as well. This is a big step up. The best name he has on his resume is Pedraza by a mile. That's not even close. Then he's got Patera and Egit. And those are the best names on his resume. This is a step up from any of those guys. Gustavo Daniel Lemos. This should be close to an even fight. I don't know why they would give him this fight as a welcome home, as a homecoming. This is by far, by a mile, the toughest fight of his career. Lemos gets hit too much. He's not technically perfect. He gets a little wild. He can be timed. He doesn't jab enough. He's an animal. He stays on you. He commits to his shots. He's skilled on the inside. He's a very good offensive fighter on the inside. A lot of people had him beating Richardson Hitchens. Richardson Hitchens is better than Keyshawn Davis. Okay? So he gave Richardson Hitchens hell. And a lot of people, most notably the DAZN crew, thought he beat Hitchens. I did not. I thought Hitchens won, and I thought 117, 111, 116, 112 was the right score. There were close rounds in that fight that I gave to Hitchens that you could have swung the other way. And there were plenty of people, most notably the DAZN crew, who thought Lemos beat Hitchens. He destroyed Lee Selby. That is a world-class, world championship level fighter. He destroyed Lee Selby. Knocked him out in 5. Down once in the 4th, twice in the 5th. He destroyed Lee Selby. At 135, he went up to 140 to fight Hitchens out of his weight class, and a lot of people thought he won. So what am I telling you about Gustavo? Gustavo is damn good. Rome, New York, home of bipolar boxing, and Pat Riley, one of my heroes, Pat Riley, the basketball coach. See, he had for Robeson. That's interesting. The first fight everybody had for Shock, and they gave it to Robeson. The second fight is it's split, and I'm seeing a lot of scorecards for Robeson. I had for Shock, but I'm seeing a lot of cards. I gave the last. Do you remember bipolar? I gave the last 6 rounds. So at the midway point, I had it 4-2 Robeson. And then I gave the last 6 rounds. So I had it 8-4 Shock. How many of the last 6 rounds did you give? Do you remember? Did you give to Robeson? Did you give him any of the last 6 rounds? Because I had Shock. And the judges actually gave the last 2 rounds to Conceição. And I thought Conceição, I thought Shock dominated the last 2 rounds. I was surprised by that. I agree with that. No, bipolar, I agree with that. And that's in my video. He's fighting everyone. He's fighting the judges. He's fighting everyone. He's fighting Keyshawn. He's fighting the judges. He's fighting everything. I don't think that he can necessarily get a decision, but I think he might be able to get a stoppage on him. Over under. That's the only prop they have right now is the over under. I like the over at minus 360. I like the over. What do you think? I think he's fighting at his best weight. Like I said, I think 140, he's too small for that. Hitchens is a big, strong, tall 140. Lemos is a lightweight. But we saw this with McDonough and other guys. Like, they just want to fight. Sergio Martinez went up to 160 when he was at 154. We see this with the Argentinian guys. They don't care. They just want to fight. So I'll go fight. It's 5 pounds, 7 pounds, whatever it is. They don't care. They'll just fight. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. So we had it the same. More or less, we both had it 4-2. Um, we both had it 4-2 at the midway point. Is that right? And then you gave him 3 rounds at the end. So we saw the first half of the fight the same. We saw the second half of the fight very, very, very differently. I thought okay, that's interesting because I thought the first half of the fight was very difficult to score. I thought you could have like any wide array of scorecard, like any scorecard you handed in the first half. Yeah, I'm not okay. I'm gonna go back and watch it. I haven't rewatched it since I got home. I haven't watched it again since I got home. So I've only watched it just live the one time. That's interesting. Okay. I didn't bet on either. I was biased, and I'm happy to see Roberson one fight one. However, I thought Oshaki won this one. So you thought these fights are interesting. So Kyle, you had Oshaki winning the first. I mean, Roberson winning the first, and Shaki winning the second. That's the opposite of what most people had. That's interesting. Like I'm one of those guys. I had Canelo winning the first fight with Triple G, and everyone looks at me like, "Did you really?" Yeah, I really did. I had 8-4 Canelo. It's a lot different watching it live. It's a lot different. I'm sure Forster blocked a lot of those punches with his gloves, but it looked like Shock wasn't throwing enough. Shock fought a very different fight. You know, Shock felt robbed, and I think rightfully robbed in the first fight. But he fought. Yeah, he was coming. He didn't throw enough, and it's an issue, and he's gonna have to fix. Right, like he's a sharpshooter, and he's got decent sting in his shots, but he's not a massive puncher. So he's just depending on his accuracy, and when he's fighting a swarming come forward fighter, his shots aren't enough to stop you in your tracks. They're enough to buzz you, but they're not enough to stop you in your track. And he doesn't throw enough to keep guys off him. I agree that he's got to pick up the volume, right? Like he's got to become. I'm not saying he's got to throw 100 punches around, but he's got to throw more shots because one shot at a time, it's not denting you enough. I'm not saying Roberson won the first fight for sure, but I like him. It was okay, and it meant a lot to them. Oh, for sure. Yeah, he was a great guy, and Oshaki's my dude again, just like Bam. I'm close with him. I'm close with his team. Bobby Benton and Aaron Navarro are two of my friends in the sport. The Houston guys, I've known Shaki. I know his manager, Keith Mills. Like, I'm tight with the whole team. So perhaps I'm biased. It's very possible. But I thought, Conceição wanted the trilogy. Osaki said, I'm not doing that. I'm going to go on and try to get other belts. It's like, maybe don't go right into it. Like he wants to fight the winner of Valdez and Navarrete. So fight the winner of that fight and then fight Conceição and then move up to 135 because ultimately Shaki says he can do probably 2 more fights at 35. So that means you can't become at 30. I mean, he can do 2 more fights at 30 before going to 135. So if you got 2 more fights in you at 30, how about you fight the winner of Valdez and Navarrete, and then you go up and you fight Conceição again? I mean, would you guys want to see a trilogy? I mean, Oshaki said there's no need for a trilogy because he won the first fight too, and I understand that I understand that, but the second fight was close. The second fight was very close too. A lot of people, and you can see it in the chat. A lot of people thought Conceição won the second fight. I wasn't one of them. I thought he won both of them. I thought the second was closer, but you can see these scorecards are all over the place on both fights. I had the first fight 10-2 for Forster. I had it like ESPN did, and I hate agreeing with ESPN, but I thought Tim Bradley was right. And then I'm talking to people, and I'm like, "Can you believe this decision?" And they're like, "Yeah, I had it for Conceição too." And I'm like, "Okay." I mean, it was one of those things. All right, let's get back. Let's get back to the book. Let me pull up the book again. So I'm just gonna recap this, and then we will wrap this up soon. Iglesias, I think, is far too. Let me refresh this. Let's see if DraftKings. Oh, it's still the same. Want to see if they updated it. If they shrunk these odds. I don't love this. This is a dangerous bet. It's kind of sexy. If it hits, y'all are gonna love me. Race Aleem, easy money. This is gonna be part of my lock. I think he gets a stoppage too. Come on over on Thursday. See if they add anything to this. If they do, let me know. And I will we'll make money on the props if they add any props. Dula Mason, easy money, minus 2,500. Kelvin Davis at minus 575. It's a little wide, but I think Kelvin Davis definitely wins. Troy Isley at minus 1,600 definitely wins. Keyshawn Davis, I like the over. I like the over 8.5. Raymond Ford at minus 1,000. Orlando Gonzalez, I like that. If you can get Raymond Ford. Hey, Rocky, are you still in the chat? World of Wrestling, my man is in the building. Rocket, if you're still in the building, you said you got Bam by stoppage and Raymond Ford by decision. What were the odds on that? Because I don't have props on that yet. And I want to see what Bam Rodriguez is by decision and by stoppage, because I like him by decision in the fight. Although the guy is slow and basic, he may get bombarded and killed. That could happen. I'm probably going to lay off that, honestly. Let me know if you're still in the chat, Rocket. And if you are, let me know what you have on that, because I'm interested to see what you guys have on Rocket, on Bam by decision, Bam by stoppage, Bam by KO is minus 300 by this. Ooh. Bam by decision is sexy to me. That's on FanDuel. I like Bam by decision, guys. I really, really do. That is something that is something sexy to me. He's so slow and so basic. Like, does Bam just kill him? Does he have anything to frustrate Bam, to keep Bam at bay? I didn't see Bam in this camp. I didn't know if he came in fat. I don't know. I like Bam at decision. Enos money line, Bam money line, Keyshawn Davis more than 8 rounds. Mason money line. Enos money line, obviously. Bam money line. Keyshawn Davis more. Yeah, yeah. World of Wrestling. What are the odds on that parlay? What do you have on that? Because I do like that. Yeah, I agree with you. Kyle Hayden says I was biased towards Sonny, but I did not think that versus Bam was going to end well. Yeah, stylistically, it's a bad fight for him. I love Sonny too. I've met him a bunch of times. We got a relationship. Like I like Sonny. I like his brother Charlie. They're great dudes. Stylistically, Sonny, I just didn't think Sonny had anything to keep Bam off of him over the long haul. Right? If you can't keep Bam off of you, he's going to destroy you, and that's ultimately what ended up happening. But I think Sonny Edwards is an excellent fighter. I think he's probably the best fighter in England right now. I like him a lot. I think he'll be back. He'll be a world champion. He's a very good fighter. But stylistically, that's a bad fight for him. He doesn't have any power to keep Bam off of him. All right. Sure, not a problem. So let me know when you get the odds on. But I do like that as a parlay. You can add Raymond Ford to that too. You just add Raymond Ford at minus 1,000 against Orlando Gonzalez. Guys, Raymond Ford is a world-class fighter. Raymond Ford is a former world champion. Raymond Ford very well could have beaten Nick Ball. A lot of people had him beating Nick Ball. Orlando Gonzalez is okay. I mean, he's Orlando Gonzalez. He lost to Marcel Lopez. He got destroyed by Ramirez. No shame in that. But I mean, what's so good about Orlando Gonzalez? No, Raymond Ford definitely beats him. So at minus 1,000, I think that's a good bet. Minus 290, that's not terrible. What happens if you add Raymond Ford minus 1,000 to it? If you add Raymond Ford to that, minus 1,000. Or I have minus 1,000. What do you have over on Hard Rock? Minus 1,000. What do you get if you add minus 1,000? While he's doing that, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to try to be back again live tomorrow. So join me then. Join me there. If you're in the Patreon, I'll have the lock of the week out for you. If you are not in the Patreon, then I'm going to put the link in the description and make sure to join the Patreon so that you can get the lock of the week. Because I'm going to wrap this up. I appreciate everyone coming by. I'm just waiting on World of Wrestling to see if he tells me what that parlay moves to if he adds Raymond Ford. If he adds Raymond Ford to it. So just give him a minute. Leave that. If you guys have any other... I watched that the other day too. Raymond Ford and Bellotti the other day before Bellotti's fight got killed off. Yeah. Raymond Ford really took Bellotti apart. All right. I'm getting updates all over the place. Possibly 209. Is that right, World of Wrestling? All right, 209. You're getting there. You got something. Minus 225. Okay, so we're all in the same ballpark. All right, y'all. Yo, Kyle, you know how to do the math on the parlay? I know the formula. I just can't. I don't got the brain for it no more. All right, I'm going to wrap this up, y'all. Been going live in 40 minutes. Appreciate y'all. Love every one of y'all. Join the Patreon if you have not. Head on over to carnivalbar.com. Use promo code BOXING to save 10% at checkout. It is, what is it? It's November 5th, 2024. It's election day. Kyle Hayden, I know he's not, he's younger than me. There you go. There you go. All right, y'all. From Texas to the world. Kyle said I had ChatGPT build me a calculator. All right, y'all. From Texas to the world, thank you and God bless.